Welcome back, welcome to another video on the channel 424. I'm Damien and I'm going to be walking you through today on how we set up our first game of Football Manager 2021. Now, the main thing with this video and why we're doing it is to show you how to get in and adjust the advanced settings. Now, why would you want to do that? We want to adjust the advanced settings to make sure the database is as large as it possibly can be without compromising the speed of the game, as well as impacting the leagues and the nations that we've got loaded. So let's begin. Start a new game, choose career. That will bring us up to this career game setup screen where you can choose your team or decide what management you want to do. Otherwise, for now, I just choose pick team later. Now, most people would go to quick start because it's the nice easy option, but we want to go to the other button, advanced setup. So clicking that, that'll load that up now. The main thing we want to have a look at, and I'll just quickly delete these, is depending where you're going to play, you probably want to select add or remove leagues, and it'll give you a star based on the neighbouring countries or the leagues that are recommended to be loaded when you're going to play potentially in England, for example. So what we'll do is we'll just select those leagues now. We'll maybe just choose the big five. Choose confirm. Now, the one thing about leagues being loaded and being playable is that does make the game slow down because we are having to process so much data. So what I would normally do is if I'm going to stay in the one country, I can choose view only, and that really just means that the country's league is not going to be simulated in the same level of detail as what it would be. So once we've chosen the active nations and leagues, we need to come up here to the approximate player count. So at the present moment, this database, if we chose to start the game now, would have 14,740 players. So we want to change that. We've got small, medium and large. We want to go to advanced. Now this allows us to force load players based on either the division, the nation, the region or the continent. So what I'll show you is we can see if you choose a nation, so let's just choose England for example because we're in England. We can now tick these boxes and we'll be able to see exactly how many players get added. So we'll start ticking them. As we can see, it's already started to jump up just by ticking these boxes. So basically by ticking just all those boxes in England, we've managed to double our player count just from England. But also, I mean, if we wanted to make sure it's a bit more realistic in regards to the amount of players we had for it to pick from England, but in Europe, we could also just tick all the European boxes for the continent of Europe to see exactly what that will force load us. And as you can see, it's brought it to 268,000. So while Football Manager doesn't recommend any more than 125,000, it probably is a good idea just to test it out for yourself, because the main thing that eats up the computer speed and makes the estimated game speed slower is the leagues being loaded. The only real part I've seen where the actual player count has impacted my speed is at the transfer windows, or it might be when regens are being processed at a certain part of the game. Oh, and yeah, loading up the transfer page and the scouting page if it's loading up a large amount of players. Otherwise, this is the best way to really impact the amount of players that you have in your database. So now all you need to do is click start game and you're done. Have a think about when it comes to making sure the detail level is at the right level for you when you're playing. If when you load into your game, if you hit the FM button to bring the options down, we've got the detail level tab. Click this and it will show what level each type of competition, whether it be domestic or international or European, whatever the competition is, what level match detail it is. So as you can see, if we click on North America, it does tell you here what level these are going to be played, well, what type of games are going to be played out in full detail. So at the moment it's none, so for the Continental Club competitions, North America has no match detail. But you can change them depending on what you want to do, and based on how you change them will be based on how your estimated game speed is. So again, another thing to have a look at, just to make sure that you've optimized the game at the right level for your PC. The other thing to mention while we're on this screen, if you also click on the FM and scroll down to add and remove leagues, any of the leagues that we have chosen as view only to start the game, we can actually click here and change their status as well. So we can bring them to playable or to playable and view only below. So that's a really, really good option, that you can change what your original settings are. So don't be too concerned if you put leagues on as view only, because just come to this screen, just go to FM, scroll down to add or remove leagues, and they are changeable. The start screen team, hopefully everything I've said there has added some value. It's allowed you to be able to understand how you can use those advanced settings to set up the game with the largest level of detail that is optimized for your PC. If there's any other questions, if there's anything you think I haven't covered, please put it down in the comments. Other than that, I'd just like to ask, if you enjoyed the content today, if you like the other videos that are coming out, please subscribe to the channel, like the videos, and I'll see you all again soon.